But yeah, that kind of leads us into the next show of it, as we'll show back to here. Money in the Bank. They led off with the women's Money in the Bank, and to the surprise of some, the more I thought about it, it really did make a lot of sense that Naomi was the Ms. Money in the Bank. She was the one who she was able to fight and get to it. I thought that maybe Jade would prevent her from winning. Now I'm starting to think that maybe Jade will be the reason that the women's Money in the Bank no longer has 100% success rate after Naomi tries to cash in, but not quite sure. But I definitely enjoyed the match. I thought it made a lot of sense because, Julia and Vaquer, they're a little bit too new to the main roster, and same with Roxanne. Really, they were more good to be in the match. It's kind of like an Oscar. They were just happy to be nominated, be in the match, have a good showing, perform well, get yourself over with the audience. But I didn't think any of them were going to be the ones to win it. And Rhea would have probably made a lot of logical sense, but she doesn't need it. I mean, she's always in the title picture, no matter what happens with her. So, but I enjoyed it. I definitely thought it was a good match overall. And I wasn't surprised that it led off the show as well. So I was definitely impressed with it.
I picked Julia, so I was wrong.
I mean, I get it. They would have made sense in a lot of ways of how they're presenting them to kind of push them to. I just think it was a little bit too soon to push him into that spot. Now with Julia, I could have seen maybe they have her go for the US title with it, but I feel like that just diminishes the Money in the Bank. And she's clearly going to be in a program with Zelina, and I don't see any way she doesn't beat Zelina. I don't see any way she doesn't win the title. But since this is the WWE PLE, we will give this a ratings match. We still don't really have a category or a specific, we'll still call them star rankings for now, but as we do, 1 through 4, 4 being the best, 1 being a dud. I thought this match was solid. I would say it was probably a solid 2.5 even with it, because I did like the finish, and I'm excited to see where they're going to go with Naomi as Ms. Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I had it as a 2. It was good.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
Good start. Perfect.
Yeah. One of the things that also was cool that came out of Worlds Collide was that Dominic got on the mic there and challenged Octagon Jr. to a Intercontinental title match that they had on at Money in the Bank, which I thought was great. A good way of tying the shows in together. Also lets Dom be a part of the Worlds Collide show, even though he wasn't wrestling on it, which I thought was great with his ties to Eddie Guerrero, and that being kind of how he was first seen by most American audiences at the original Win, which is funny. People call them the same, but that one was called Win Worlds Collide. This one was just Worlds Collide. But I thought this was good. I thought this was fun. Man, Dominic he's really come into his own. I'm surprised how good he actually is. Not only at getting heat and the psychology, but the kid's a damn good wrestler now. Like when you see him, like he's pulling off his moves well. He's got good pacing. He lets things breathe because he's still a chicken shit heel. He sneaks his way out of the ring or does little things of stuff. We'll talk about it when we get into Monday Night Raw as well, of just stuff he did there. It's really, really cool to see how good things are going well for this kid, at least for me.
He sounds badass when he speaks Spanish.
Yeah, he really does. He's just got that look. My brain automatically goes back to, when he was teaming with Ray, and you were just like, get this Nepo baby out of here. He's terrible. And it's just, yeah, I felt, the thing was, I felt bad about it because, he seemed like a likable, like a nice kid. You could see he was trying hard. For any of us that are old school fans that remember the ladder match with Ray and Eddie and that whole, the match was one thing, but all those vignettes and like in the park and all that gets like, it's great to see him, evolve into an adult, but just, he was such a bland and boring baby face. And I'm not sure if there's ever been a bigger 180 from one turn than what happened with Dom. Because he was, just with how bad it was with him as a baby face to how good it became.
I was happy to see during this match. If you look at the ring poll, look who the sponsor was.
The 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
We don't have any here, so it kind of sucks.
It's funny.
But I haven't seen him in a while, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, because I'm here. That was in LA, and I'm obviously here in Phoenix. Like we have them here, and they are in LA as well. But you do feel like Circle K's are normally the one you see the most of, which always makes me think of Bill and Ted with Strange Things Are Afoot at the Circle K. But I give this match a solid 2. Like there wasn't anything special, wasn't anything bad. It was also very quick. I don't feel like it was I don't think it was like a long match at all. I feel like it went.
Yeah, I had it for a 2 as well.
Perfect. Yeah, it makes sense. The next one was Lyra and Becky for the women's IC title. Becky won, got Lyra to raise her head at the end. This match was mostly filler, in my opinion. Like, it's fine. I get it. Makes sense to put the title on Becky. This one's a little bit harder for me to sink my teeth into in this storyline.
And I've come across the other way now.
Oh yes, I like it.
Somehow I'm starting to like Lyra. I don't know what's going on, but I'm liking where she's going.
Okay, that makes sense. Now I've never been on the train that was completely like there's a lot of people that are just very anti-Lyra. They don't like her at all.
That's because of the stupid wings.
Yeah, I'll give you that. See for me,
get rid of the wings. They could take her seriously.
Yeah, and look, it does really open her up. Like even with Becky can call her Bird Lady, like it really just it doesn't work. And if anybody is an Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan with the eyes, just makes you think of that. And then it's one of the other reasons why Ospreay doesn't get over as well, to be honest, because it's a goofy look there too. Like I mean, this match was fine. I would say probably like 1.5 for me. Like just nothing special.
I had it for 2. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I was gonna.
Nice. Hey, that's awesome. That's great. I mean, that's one of the reasons we do this show. One of the reasons not everything's going to agree. We're not always going to be on the same page.
I like where it may go. We'll see.
That's true. The follow up on Raw, there was some stuff there, and seeing what's going to happen with the return that happened on Raw, that was pretty good for sure. Next up was the men's Money in the Bank match, which I thought was very good. I very much enjoyed this. I mean, there were some not only great spots in the match, but there was some pretty cool storytelling too with I guess you would call it the Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker coming out to help Seth, and then the JC Mateo and Jacob Fatu coming out, which then got to that amazing moment of I hate you Solo, which we've all been wanting and waiting for, which for me, if nothing else, that really got that moment was amazing. And that was probably the moment I popped for the biggest in this match, because, for me, when we talked about in our preview show, I didn't see any way this match was ending without Seth winning it. So that made a lot of sense there. It was kind of an easy one to predict on that part of it.
Yeah,
but I really did enjoy the spots in the match. I mean, shout out to Gable, man, to being able to have that match with Vikingo that, I mean, it's a lucha match, so he's got to remember all the crazy spots and all the stuff you're going to do in that one. And then 2.5, 3 hours later, you're in a 6-man ladder match. That's pretty intense.
The only thing that was dopey to me was Solo's little acting bit there when he was trying to be cool and get Jacob to move the ladder for him, and he's doing all that acting shit that I didn't care for. But
yeah, that
was a bit much.
That was what I did like from Solo was I like his comedy stuff, like when he was making fun of Penta and doing the stuff there. Solo is very talented and super underrated. I'm wondering it. I'm excited to see the feud with Jacob. I mean, if nothing else, it should be a hard hitting affair. It'll be fun. I'm assuming that'll be the SummerSlam match between the two of them for the U.S. title, but we'll see. The downfall of this one, not downfall, but the silly part of this one was the fireball ladder. Like clearly once they pulled that out, you knew that was going to be the ladder that won it. I mean, I'm not one to really be that upset about the adverts. Like I get it. Like it's part of, I always think, hey, as long as the talent and everybody's making money and being well taken care of, I'm not going to have a problem with it. But that just seemed kind of silly in that sense. Like I don't mind it on the tables because it's going to be on all of the WWE tables. Like that's fine. I just feel like the one ladder having the fireball logo was kind of like a little much, a little over the top, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Yeah, right.
And the color of it. And I'm like, God
Yeah.
dang it.
And just then pointing it out and saying it over and
Just
over
put
again.
Just put a
Yeah.
sticker
And I
on
mean,
it.
like, that's one of the reasons I grabbed this picture because it was cropped out of it. Because, like, you know, you knew that. And I mean, like I said, it makes sense. It is what it is. And I have no problem with the ads, like in the ring, like you pointed out on the buckles there. I mean, that if nothing else, that gives it more of that real sports feel. I mean, watch a baseball game and look at the walls that's, you know, there, or, you know, soccer teams and even basketball teams now have the logo or the advert on their jerseys. It's just part of the process. It's capitalism. It's all there to make money. But Seth winning, obvious. That one, at least, like I said, to me was pretty obvious. Makes a lot of sense. I am very interested into how he's going to cash it in. I just assumed it was going to be the heel way of make him even more heel by like taking it off of Jay. You know, I thought actually what was going to happen was I thought he was going to take it from Jay on Raw. I thought that Jay would sneak out a win on Gunther and be beaten down and, you know, barely able to stand. And then he, you know, Seth and Breaker were going to come out, have Breaker spear him, Bronson Reed tsunami him, Seth stomp him, match over. But we'll see how this goes. It could be fun to see what Seth does with the Money in the Bank title or Money in the Bank crease.
Yeah, I don't want to see it go too long though.
Yeah, I agree.
The longer it goes, the more you have all that. Is he going to cash it in here? Is he going to cash it in here?
Yeah, and I feel like
not sooner the better, but
yeah, and I feel like you can't have both of them doing that for because then it does get in the way. Like I thought last year was probably the best they could have done it. Drew wins it, cashes it in same night. Punk costs him, furthers that storyline. Tiffany wins hers, and then does tease it for a while, and then puts herself into a storyline where we all knew she was going to take it from Nia at some point. We just didn't know when. Luckily for me, it happened to be here in Phoenix at the first SmackDown of the year, and I got to see it live, which was one of the cooler things you can see because I feel like not many people, I mean, there's not that many people that can say they've seen a cash in live. So that was fun. Never mind, it was a world title change, which is always enjoyable. But yeah, I thought this match was very good. I think for me, I would probably give this a solid 3 because of all of the storylines that came out of it. This made the most sense. There were some very cool spots, but there wasn't too much contrived in it. Actually, scratch that. I'll bring it down. I'll go to 275. The fireball ladder knocks off a quarter point for me.
I had 2.5.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then the main event of Cody and Jay versus Cena and Logan Paul. Cody and Jay got the win. This was a very fun match. I was kind of surprised that there wasn't, Rock or Travis Scott at the end or during it of some sort, but I thought it was very fun. I thought it was enjoyable. I'm in, obviously with there was the run in that we did get with, we're going to call him Ron Killings now or R-Truth. I feel like if he's got the hair, you call him R-Truth, but if he cuts it, it's Ron Killings. But I thought this was cool. I thought it was a great way for them to end the match, put this in. Sorry, everybody who thinks it's a real situation. I'm still convinced it's a work. Maybe, like I said, his contract probably did expire, and they used that to their advantage in the story.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that conversation. Yeah. It's going to make my head spin again.
Yeah, I mean, just right here. I mean, just look at that face. I mean, he knew what he was doing. But neither here nor there. We got into that. I was saying that to be a tease to go listen to our most recent clip from Spaces. It's the 50-minute interview with Dis. We get into the weeds about it, of what we think, what could have happened, what we think happened, making fun of the dirt sheets we're trying to scramble around. But I thought it was a great way to turn this match into the favor of Jay and Cody for them to win. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was, as I like to say, I was thoroughly sports entertained.
Yeah, these angles and stuff like this used to happen constantly in the 70s and 80s and stuff. Like these angles would happen every day. You'd wonder what happened. Like Jerry Lawler gets hit by a car. People call the cops.
But that didn't happen in the same territory every day, though. They would happen in Florida and in Memphis and in, Portland, but it's in the one federation in one TV show. You don't want it happening too much. I think they've got a good mix and balance in. And what I think works the best is there's no, like, this wasn't reported. Like, there wasn't like a, even like day of somebody's posting, oh, our truth's in the building or whatever. That it's not getting spoiled for us, whether that's because the WWE is keeping tight-lipped with it and not letting the sheets know, or they're telling the sheets wrong things. I think the being surprised as a wrestling fan, whether we were worked or not worked, whatever, I'm just happy that we're able to have these things happen again, as opposed to where you would, when someone's debuting and or like, you see the Jericho countdown clock and, I wondered what that was for a week. Yeah, exactly. And it works really well. And for that of it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would say for me, I probably give this one a 2.5, but maybe a 2.75, but probably go 2.5 on it.
That one 2.5.
Yeah. And then I just had to leave this as the final picture of the Money in the Bank show, just because, I did watch the press conference. I usually, because I'm in the West Coast, the post show, it's only like 8:30 for me. So I usually just put it on in the background. Don't really watch every little detail of it, but I almost always watch Triple H in the interviews because it's just fun. Like, you can tell he's kayfabing what he needs to. I still think it's funny how people sometimes they think they're not kayfabe, but overall, Money in the Bank was a solid show for sure. I definitely enjoyed it. I guess that's my review of it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed I enjoyed the weekend.
I was just going to say the whole day. I mean, that was a lot. That was what, 3 p.m. Eastern to like almost 11 Eastern. Like, that's a lot. That was a long time of it, but they did very well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's for sure.